Hey everybody, Lance Mikes for the Undead Viking here. Here to talk to you about a game called Tides of Infamy. Now, Tides of Infamy is, if you've probably guessed just from the ship over here, the giant sea serpent and whatever on the front cover, plus these cool lightning bolts coming down. This is a nautical themed game, but more importantly, it's a nautical themed pirate game. And I love the pirate theme. I love the pirate games. One of my favorite games, and will always be one of my favorite games, is Merchants and Marauders. But I mean, and I've played games like Tortuga, and I've played games like Blackbeard, and I've always kind of not really found a good, medium confrontation type of game. It's hard to explain the genre that I would put Tides of Infamy into. I mean, it's a pirate theme game, and it has like some wonderful, I wouldn't say program movement, but card-driven movement going on, and like the combat. I mean, combat with rolling dice is all well and good and everything like that, but I like having a little bit of control over it. And I was always wondering if I could find like some nice like card-based combat, and I found some in this game, and then combined with like exploration. I always enjoyed the idea of like unexplored territory, if you will, and and there's something to be said also for playing a pirate themed game that isn't just gotta be in the Caribbean or whatever, Not that I don't mind that for a theme. I mean, it's like it's the age of pirates or whatever, but one of the things I really liked about the Black Pearl or the Caribbean Pirates, I can't even think of that, with that dreamy Johnny Depp in it, Pirates of the Caribbean, was the fact that they added some sort of like a mystical, fantastic quality to it. And so, I've been kind of really, the games that I have for pirates are really fun and I like them a lot, but I just hadn't found a game that had scratched kind of like that other itch that was out there. And I finally found one with Tides of Infamy. I've had an absolute blast playing this game. I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to show you the most complete rules overview I can do, just because of the fact that like I said, I played it a lot, and I've actually, since the time I've had it, I've seen the game go through some changes, and so I want to make sure that you guys know how to play the game, and then after you sit through that, what's probably going to be lengthy overview of the rules, we'll come back here and I'll tell you more about why I've been enjoying Tides of Infamy as much as I have. Alright, cool, let's do this. This is the game of Tides of Infamy. Now I've set up a 4-player game, and I actually have done something a little bit different. The game actually asks you to, when you play a 4-player game, or any number of player games actually, technically, these tiles that we're going to be flipping over as we play the game, you take a certain number of them out. There's like different tiles. There's port tiles, there's rock tiles, and portal tiles, and so on and so forth. And you are instructed to remove a certain number of them, so you have like a 5x4 grid. Optionally, you can just use every single tile and make a nice 5x5 square. I dig having the larger game board. I always like that, and I like using all the tiles, of course. But also the idiosyncrasy of having a 5x4 grid and not having the home tile in the center just kind of bothers me. So that's why I've set it up like this, because this is how I pretty much played the game. 4 players and a 5x5 grid. So each person has a harbor tile that they keep in front of them. They will use this, and it has the 3 slots for their 3 different ships. When their ships get sunk, they will be sent to the keel haul here, and then they'll remain on there. And unless you can have them fixed at the end of your turn, they will stay there for an extra, and kind of like losing a turn with that particular ship. Now these are the ship molds I have. Now I don't know, these are really cool looking. But I can't guarantee this is what they're going to look like when the game is published. I think they're going to look very much like this. That is the sloop. Here is your, like, I think it's called a brigand line. The kind of the one that can carry a lot, but isn't really good in combat. And then your man of war, kind of slow. It's one of your slower ships, but it can carry a ton. Now you might be saying, what do you mean it can carry stuff? Well, one of the cool things about this game is that they've gone to the trouble of actually, because you're going to be collecting different goods and whatever as you travel around the board, and they put this big giant mast on there like that, and you can just put the stuff you're collecting right like so. And so at a glance, everybody can see what your ships are carrying, which is kind of a cool little aspect of the game, and like, you know, like a cool little functional part of the game too. And plus, it's when we've played the game, like at my local game store, and also just like at my house when I'm having game night and having several people over, people always are like, "Whoa, what is this game?" You know, and one of the things they always look at is the ships, because the ships look really cool. But anyway, so to play the game, you set the board up like I've already done. And each person will get 3 movement cards. Well, they get 1 movement card technically for each ship that is either out moving around in the sea or in their harbor. If it's being repaired, you don't get a card for that particular ship. And so you go ahead and draw them off these cards. Really awesome looking artwork, I might add. And the thing is that you don't have to use, like, you're not drawing, oh, this is my Man of War card. You just draw the cards, and then you determine which one you're going to be using. So we'll just take 3 cards. I'm just going to kind of show how this works. And let's see what we get here. Well, actually, this is pretty cool. So here's a couple of cards that just have a 4 underneath them. That means that the ship can move 4. Here's a card that actually says you can move a Man of War 1 space, a Bylander 2 spaces, and a Sloop of War 3 spaces, and then you draw again. Now, the interesting thing is that you can only use like 1 of these cards per ship, but you can add this card onto something. So technically, a ship can get 2 cards, because you could like use that for like your sloop or whatever. And then when you use that one, you get to use another card. And so technically, if you have the 3 ships out there, each one is going to move on a given turn unless they are being repaired. Now, just before we get too far, I'm just going to show you there are a couple other different cards. Cards that'll have numbers, and they'll have this little symbol, this crossbone symbol down here. That means when you play this, you actually get to force the other players to draw these Pirate Luck cards that are right over here. I'll explain the Pirate Luck cards in a little bit, but that is a way that you can force them either to throw cargo overboard or draw something that could possibly give them a really bad effect, if you will. And you get to move your ship as well. And there's one other card I'm going to show you, and that is a repair card. So if you have one of these, you get to take it and you can keep it. Or if you can repair a ship, if one of your ships has been destroyed or is in being keel hauled, you can then repair it and then immediately get it ready to go. Otherwise, remember, it takes a turn. Or if you don't have anything that needs repaired, or you just don't want to repair anything, you can put this and just keep it and hold on to it until such time to use it later. Now, the thing is that you can't ever have 2 of these. So if you have one, then you immediately got to use it, or discard it and draw again. But the cool thing is that you do, once again, draw another card when you have that one. So you do actually then still get 1 card per ship to move. Now, moving is simple. If you're in the harbor, you leave out of... There's other tiles that will show up that you can leave out of as well in the future. It's somewhere in there. But in here, you can go ahead and, like, if you just want to move your Man of War and you play like a 4 spot, now you start off in the center of this one, and you might notice that there's all these cool little squiggly lines that represent currents. Technically, normally, you can only move orthogonally like that, but when there's these little currents there, that means that those are all legal moves. Now, you're going to have other places later, and I'll undoubtedly find one here when I move, but when you locate those, then you will sometimes, like after you land on an island, you'll only be able to leave in certain directions. But so if you move 4, like you can go like 1, and then you can go 2, and when you move on to another space, just as you probably will presume, you will just take that tile and you will turn it over. Now, the first thing you have to do is that you have to look, and this is actually a cool thing that this just happened. So you'll notice that this one has a little arrow down there. So you have to rotate this until it's in the position for where your ship entered it. So you're going to rotate it, and so it goes like that. Now, technically, I just hit the rocks, and so when that happens, you don't move any further. You actually have to go back to your harbor, like so. So that isn't like the best thing that possibly happened, and then that ship has done its movement. But so that's how when you reveal a tile, that's what happens. Let's see if we just have some better luck with another ship here. We'll go ahead and take this guy, and we'll move him here, like we're moving 4 again. And so we'll go and we'll flip this over. And, well, a little better luck. We found rocks again. But, you know, we entered the area there. So now if you go 1, 2, you're going to move 3, 4. So you can go 3 and then 4. So the whole point is that you're either going to be trying... Oh, that's kind of a cool tile. Notice the giant sea turtle here. Now, well, a lot of these tiles have a lot of like cool little window dressing on them and stuff like that. They don't really enter into play unless it is something important like a port, or if it is, you know, a spot that you can pick a plunder or a portal or anything like that. And I'm going to try to find those things as we go. Now, normally how it goes is the first player, you have a first player and then you have a last player, and you'll go around the table, and then when everybody's done their turns, everybody's done all their movement, you'll go to the next turn of the game, and then that first player token will shift to the left, like in a lot of games. So each player will move one ship, then one ship, and then one ship, and then one ship, just like you assume. If, at any time, 2 ships end up in the same spot, there's going to be a battle, but that's not going to take place until after all of the movement has happened. So, and you can't, at that point, when the 2 ships meet, you can't, at that point, neither of them can move. Now, there's nothing stopping somebody else from saying, hey, I want in on this, and go over there and fight as well. You can have a battle with as many ships as possible. All players can get involved. And plus, there is a team variant where when you play it, you will actually then be working together, you know, if you will, and trying to, you know, establish points. Normally, like in a 4-player game, you're trying to get to 15 marks of infamy. Whoever gets there first wins the game. When you play like a 2-person team versus a 2-person team, you're trying to get to 25. And then with like 2 players, it's 20 marks, or 21, I believe, one of the two. I apologize. And then with 3 players, it's 17. And so, you know, that's just, but these are the marks of infamy over here, and you collect them from doing various things, from, you know, winning battles, to being the person that finds one of the last 6 tiles. So after you've discovered all of the tiles on the board, the last 6 will get these marks of infamy on them. And then as you discover them, you'll get the mark of infamy for doing that. For bringing contraband trade back to the home port, you'll get marks of the shadow trade, which are these barrels here. You'll get plunder, you know, for obviously plundering. And you get marks of infamy for winning battles as well. And so the whole thing is you're trying to get those through any of those ways, if you will. And one of the really cool ways to do it is by actually finding and collecting the treasure and bringing it back and then trading them in. And you can actually see on this cool player aid, so it's like emeralds are worth 3, so are diamonds, so are sapphires, rubies are worth 2, gold is worth 2, silver is 1, treasure brown is 1, and contraband black as well. But so I'm going to hopefully find one. So I'll show you battles here in just a second. But so here, let's maybe the blue player will have some better luck. So if they moved up here and we flip this one over, oh, here we go. That's actually very fortuitous. So they could actually go. There's this one that you can see. There's this port that has the ruby on it, right? And so then you can see that if you go on their spot, you either got to leave going either this way or that way. And so, you know, in that process. But when you go to that spot, like so, and land there, you will then find the ruby and grab it and place it on your ship to show that you have that. And if you can return with that, you'll get the marks of plunder with that. And that's actually pretty close. So when something like that happens, usually then, at least in my games, other players then swarm to you know, meet to that, you know, to attack that person and get them before they can get back and get the easy points or easy marks of plunder, easy marks of infamy to do that. Now I'm going to show you battles, like I said, but let me just try to find a couple other spots so I can show you what other things. Ah, there's a portal. Excellent. So a portal, as you can probably guess, is going to teleport you. Let me see if I can just find another one. And I do apologize. I probably shouldn't have just put these out randomly. I should have actually tried to find one. Oh, there's one with the gold on it. So that's where you'd find the gold tile. It's over there. Oh, here's actually a pirate port. The pirate port is where you can collect 3 of these contraband markers from there, which is one of those good thing. Gosh darn it! Where's another? No, there's a pirate port. Oh, the sapphire. Gosh, try over here. No, of course not. I'm I swear there's other portals. And I'm going to find one. The diamond. This is good though. You're getting a nice look at at the artwork and everything that's on the board. And I know, there we go. There's another portal. Excellent. So now then, if you enter a spot with a portal, and you could enter it by accident actually, like if you were like leaving this one and inspecting this tile right there, and happen to be going in there, when you enter a portal, you have to pick another portal that's been revealed on the board. If there's no other portals, nothing happens. But then you'll show up at that other portal. It's a quick little teleportation. Now that I've actually shown off all these different locations as well, I should mention that the world is a wraparound world. So if you leave the board this way, you'll show up across it. It is like a, this is not a flat earth world. You do actually go around the world when you move. The only other thing, let's just reveal the rest of these since we're done. So there's another spot, obviously, and so when you enter into the game, you have the option of entering into that spot. And notice how now there are 6 left. So when there's 6 left, at that point you place these marks on those spots, letting the players know that if they are one of the people that discovers the tile, they'll get that mark of infamy. And so we'll just go ahead and reveal these. Just so you can see all the different tiles. There's another portal. There, I believe, is the silver mine. The emeralds. Another portal. And finally, another portal. Wow, I really dodged those portals when I was showing those off. So there you go. So, once you get the whole game over, and you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to play with all these. I do actually just try to play with the whole 5 and 5, just because I like how big the board is and how epic it is, and how you kind of have to go everywhere and search everything out, and it's a lot of fun that way. But it does make for a longer game. So if you want to keep the game shorter, you can play with the 5x4 board. So first, pirate luck cards. I want to talk about those. So let's say I'm just going to put the ships out here, and the way, wherever they are, I'm just going to place them at random, kind of. So if during a turn somebody moves, and like say the red player plays a pirate luck card, a movement card that has the pirate luck token on it, like so. They use this one 5, and they get to pick a tile on the board that has their opponents on it, and they get to pick that spot, and they would have to, let's say it's purple, actually, because lucky enough there's 3 other people here, and they say that one. And every other player that's on that particular spot has to, at this point, draw a pirate luck card and put it face down in front of them. And so the purple player doesn't have to, because so the blue player, the red player, and the black player, they all have that card in front of them. Each person in turn has a choice. If they have cargo on the ship that's in that spot, they can either choose to throw it overboard. If they have more than one cargo, they can throw it overboard, or they can take their chances and turn the card over and see what happens to them. So in this case, the blue player can say, no, I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to get rid of my cargo. Probably wouldn't in this case, because the ruby's actually pretty good. You're pretty close to getting to score it. But then the player who did that then gets to choose where this token goes. It doesn't go back to the spot where the rubies originated, right there, obviously. He gets to pick an island where it can show up. And so if, like, the purple player, like, looks where his ships are, and he sees that, well, he's got one ship over there, but he's got a ship over here close to the diamond, so he's going to say, yeah, it's going to go there. So I can easily get it. And now, and so if, like, pirate tokens will actually go to, like, a pirate base, things like that. But, so when they choose to throw the token overboard, you get to pick where it goes. Theoretically, you're going to be placing it someplace that'll be fortuitous for you. So each person then, the blue player got rid of it, so they can take this, they get rid of it, we put it at the bottom of the mark of it, the pirate luck card. So the red player will turn it over, see what happens, and says, you come upon a merchant ship that appears to have been torn apart by something massive. Scouring the ill-fated ship's wreckage, you discover valuables among the debris. Add 1 brown chest token to your ship. So they decided they were going to go with it, probably because they had to. But then they're going to go ahead and they get that. So their sloop gets a little treasure chest. So it's actually fortuitous. But let's see what we got over here. The wind starts to pick up what looks to be quite a storm. You react quickly, calling requirements. You expertly ride the fast current of the storm front. Move your ship one space. So neither of them actually had anything bad happen to them, which, is kind of boring. So let's just go ahead and dig through here and find something that actually, bad. So, well, here's one. You can actually, the flavor text for this one just adds one brown chest token. There's gotta be something bad here. Some of them actually, so here, you are drawn towards a soothing sound through the mist. While in a trance-like state, you run aground of an upcropping of rocks. Move your ship to harbor. Put all tokens stay on the space where this happens. So, if that had happened, I just added that token there. But if that had happened to them, you'd put the token down where it is, and then the red would have to take that and put it back in the harbor. Now, you can actually play with harder rules. So instead of going to your harbor, you actually go and you have into your keel haul area, where you're actually your shipyard, where you actually have to repair it. And so if you want to play more strict, you can do that. So, all right, finally combat. Now, there's two different ways you can do combat. There's a way you can do combat that is very light and simple, and this is the way I played it with my daughter. She loves this game, by the way. But there's also a more hardcore version, if you will. Now, either of these, you're just playing cards, and basically, if you're playing an easy way, you're going to be playing the game of war. If you're playing the tough way, you're going to be playing a game of poker. So the way it works is there are these battle cards, and I'm going to show you the way of war, the way it's played. So, depending on if you're the attacker, defender, a man of war. If you're using your man of war in combat, you get 7 cards. If you are the defender and you're playing the brigand line, you get 6. If you're the attacker, you get 5. And if you are the sloop of war and you're attacking, you get 6, but if you're defending, you get 5. So, just something to think about. So, each person then, let's just for the sake of simplicity, let's say a sloop of war is attacking, so they get 6, and they're attacking a brigand line, which gets 6. So, we'll go ahead, take those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now you play war, and you both players look at their cards. They look to see, now the cards just have a number on them. They do have a symbol, but I'm not going to talk about the symbol because that doesn't matter in this particular version. You look over here, and each person's just going to play a card from their hand. And if you tie, you play again. Just like normal war. And then you play until somebody has won 3 rounds. Now, as soon as the person wins 3 rounds of it, so so here the first player would obviously probably play their 6 to start. The best card for over here it would be a 5. So they'd win 1 round, and then so you start looking in here. But now the next one you have a 4, and then they actually have a 5, so it's 1-1 now. And actually now looking at the cards, 1, 2, 3. He's not going to win anymore because he's already played his 2 best cards, 6 and a 4. He's got 2, 2, 3, 3 left. And, he's got 5, 4, 4. He's, so the other player, this side over here, let's just say that was the brigand line, will win the battle. So, the sloop of war gets destroyed. It gets sent back to the person's shipyard. If they had any plunder on their particular ship, any tokens on there, so let's just say, the sloop of war happened to have these 2 brown tokens on it. You have to dump those off into the water to show that you've lost. The person that won, let's just say it was this brigand line, they can take all the plunder they possibly can handle. If there was more, if there was more up there that they couldn't grab, it just stays there for somebody else to show up and take. And because you won the battle, for each ship that you defeat in battle, it's because you can play with more than 1 battle, you'll get a mark of infamy for each one that you won, and so that's the way you can get it. So and if there was 3 players playing, it's the exact same way you'd think you'd play, where you'd actually all 3 players play a card, and if you win, and so you just play it like so. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And like I said, that's kind of the kids version because everybody's played war and you understand high numbers. Now, there is a card in here that has a sea serpent on it. Let me find the sea serpent here. Here we go. And so there's these cards that have the Sea Serpent. Pretty cool picture too. And this is just the highest possible number. And so when you play this, you automatically win because you have the high number card in the round of battle. You do have the option of surrendering. When you surrender, you have to actually put all the tokens on your ship there, and you actually do. The other person will still get that mark of infamy for winning the battle, but your ship doesn't go back to your home base. So you just leave the battle, and you can save like having to like go all the way back to do that. You can play kind of like non-hardcore and just have them go back to your harbor instead of being destroyed. And so in that case, the whole process, instead of having your if that's, it's not as bad, but when you're actually losing your ship and actually having to repair it, a lot of times it's better just to give it up and leave, and if you don't think you're going to be able to win that particular battle. So that's the simple way. Now the more difficult process is that you play a game of poker, and you're going to be playing like kind of a slightly altered version of Texas Hold'em. And I'm sure a lot of people know what Texas Hold'em is, but just in case you don't know, Texas Hold'em is you have community cards and you build off of that. But in this case, you're only going to have one community card, and you turn that over and you put it in the middle. That's not going to work. Here, hold on. There. So like you have a 3 of guns or flintlocks in the middle. That's the suit, and it's a 3. And then each person will get their standard card. So like if there was 2 man of wars fighting, each person would get 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each person would have that hand of cards, and they look and see what they have. And I actually got a Sea Serpent, which is good because that's actually part of the way this battle can work. Now this can be it can be as many people are involved in the battle, they are going to make the hand. And so you look at it and you try to see if you're trying to make a 5-card hand just like you always do in poker. And so then you can look at it and you can try to see, well, what can I do with a 3? Well, I mean, right off the bat, I can see I can make a straight. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this is a wild card. The Sea Serpent is. And so I could actually like use that. I could, well no, I can't because it's a flintlock. I thought maybe I could make a flush. But probably the best hand I'm going to be able to possibly make with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight. And because that's, we could go 2 pair, go 2 3s with this and 2 5s, but that's probably not going to be the route to go. So you start looking at what you're going to build, but you do have the option of laying 2 cards down and drawing 2. So just looking at this, this person's probably feeling pretty good because they're going to be able to make a full house. They can go 2 3s, 3 3s and 2 4s, and they're going to be able to make a full house with this one. So you have the option of, like I said, discarding 2 cards and drawing 2. Let's see if we could actually, they already know they're going to go that route, but yeah, let's see if they get lucky here. I doubt they're going to. No. So, but so what happens now is that they'll put 2 cards down. Each person will reveal 2 cards, and they'll kind of give a hint as to what they have. So maybe they'll go, I have a 1 and a 2. Get rid of these pirate luck cards, get them out of the way, and then the other player will say, oh well, I have a pair of 4s. And so they're like, oh, okay, I feel pretty good about myself now. So then they, on their turn, will say, well, because there's the 3 out there, and they're going to say, I have a 4 5. So I have 1 2 3 4 5. I have a straight to what? Your 2 pair, and that's when this player would probably go, no, I have a full house. So I'm going to win the battle, and I'm going to destroy you, and I'm going to take the same exact thing happens. Now, if this player after putting the 1 2 sees the 2 4s and says, oh, geez, he might have a full house, or he might have like 4 of a kind or something like that, and I only have a straight, he can at that point say, I surrender, and do the exact same thing, surrender and give up, but their ship isn't destroyed. That's an option that you have when it is. And that's kind of where this battle kind of becomes interesting, because you can bluff at different hands. and like pretend that you have something. You can put down, so like, you know, maybe you're going to say like you have a flush. Like you could say, one player, if you have like a couple of flintlocks, you could show, to open up with this one, you could show, yeah, I got 2 flintlocks. Do I have 2 more? And so then you're hinting that you have a flush, and then the other person might say, oh, okay, I surrender. I don't want to lose my ship. But, you know, that's actually good because, oh, I didn't have anything. I couldn't have made a flush. You know, I couldn't have won. So that's another added level that this type of fighting, this part of the battle that I actually really enjoy. Now, there's one other thing that you can do, and if you think, after looking at your cards, there's no way you're going to win, like maybe you got a pair or 2 pairs, something like that, you have the option at this point. You can, if you have the Serpent card, you can put that down to your first 2 cards. And if that is the case, if it's one of the first 2 cards that are put down by anybody, instead of being a wild card, the Sea Serpent shows up and smashes everybody's ship. All the plunder gets placed in that spot, and everybody's ships that are involved in the battle head back to their shipyard and are destroyed, which is hilarious when it happens. Not to me, to my enemies, but it's pretty cool when that occurs. So, once again, like I said, if you get that, you get the marks of infamy for winning, and for every ship you destroy or ship that surrenders, you get that mark of infamy. You know, as I was explaining that and I was putting these 2 cards away, I did forget one thing. So you might be wondering, why would I always press my luck? I mean, obviously, if you get lucky, things can happen. The cool thing about when you press your luck, after you have one face-up press your luck card, and this doesn't happen in 2-player games, but when you get another one that's face-up, you get a mark of infamy because you are brave. And so that's actually like one of the cool things about the game is that if somebody hits you with these, for every 1 extra after the first one, you get another mark of infamy just for hanging in there and turning over. Plus, if you don't have a repair card, you can actually use 2 face-up pirate luck cards in the place of a rescue card that you normally would get out of the movement deck that's located over there. So, I mean, you might be giving up on some to, like, you know, and you have to rebuild to get back to getting a mark of infamy, but it's always better to have your ships out and being able to fight and collect and try to win the game than it is to languish in the shipyard or the keel haul area, if you will, you know, waiting to be repaired. Now, that being said, the final, after all that is done, all the movement, all the combats, everything's done, you do go to the last phase before you go to the next round, and that is the repair phase. I should probably actually bring. So if you have a ship that got sunk and is sitting in your harbor over in this area because of the fact that they're not ready to go, now if you have a repair card that you saved, you can spend it and you will place it face up in here, and then at the beginning of the next round it is ready to go, and it's ready to fight, and you can actually play. You get a movement card for it, and you get to move it out to you know, collect more treasure for you. And also, once again, you can discard 2 face-up pirate luck cards to do the exact same thing. If you can't, or you choose not to, as soon as the next round starts, you take it, and after the movement phase, you will then, you know, set it up, and, you know, well, the best way to do it, in my opinion, is just kind of stand it up in this area, so then you know it's been in there for one turn, and then the next time you just move it over to the spot, and you don't have to spend a repair card. You don't have to discard those 2 pirate luck cards to be able to then use it the next turn. But it's always better if you can prepare it. It is always better to get it out there. You know, to fight, and because, you know, when you're down a ship, man, that stinks. There's one last little tiny little rule. The whole thing about when you turn in these 2, you know, the fact is, remember I told you once you get another face-up pirate luck card, like because of the fact that you were brave, you can't win the game doing that. That is the one thing about that. You won't collect a mark of infamy if you're like in a 4-player game. If you have 14 and you need 1 more to get 15, you don't get it for that. So that's just another little rule. So I probably forgot some other little rules as well. Thanks for sitting through how to play the game. I just really wanted to give you like the full experience for this one and show you exactly everything that can be done instead of doing a brief overview, just because of the sheer amount of fun that I've had playing this game with my friends. because of the conflict, because of the fact that it's kind of a race, and there's all these different ways you can collect the tokens. It's just a lot of fun. Plus, I really like pirate games. But I'll talk more about that in my conclusion, and I'll do that right now. Tides of Infamy! Okay, so there you go. That took a lot longer than I thought it would, but whatever, we got through it, right? So thank you for sitting through that. So why do I like it? Well, I touched on that a little bit in both my introduction and also during the gameplay portion, and I'm just going to kind of expand upon that. I dig games with confrontation and with directly being able to affect somebody else's ability to win the game. And I like the feeling of like, I wouldn't say this is program movement, because it really isn't. But there is something very wonderful about when you get your movement cards and you then stare at them at that moment, and you kind of have to plot where you want to put your ships. And the thing is that there's more to just than running into a ship and attacking it. There's something to be said for, like, making them work, for their points, if you will, and putting yourself in a position where, they can't, just go past you or go through you. And because of the fact that, you're kind of moving each of your ships in turn, you kind of, I kind of, weirdly, I kind of like X's and O's, if you will, like football reference, because you're kind of like setting up blockers, if you will, and like, okay, so I'm going to make sure you can't go this way, I'm going to make sure you can't go that way. And the thing is, if somebody ever gets like a Man of War and has like 4 or 5 tokens on it, which, I just got to say, I mean, the fact that they came up with this idea to put those tokens like on the ship, it just makes the game look cool. But regardless, I'll talk more about the art here in just a second. But I mean, if somebody like has a ship and you're looking at it and you realize that they've got like 9 points sitting on that ship, people should be like drawn to that like a magnet, because you can't allow that person to pull that off. And so that's like this wonderful like chase sequence, if you will, as you start running that person down and preventing them from turning those in. I mentioned the artwork a few times. The game looks beautiful. The ships look amazing. The artwork on the cards and everything else. I mean, I don't know who did the art, and I apologize. I probably could look that up. The game just is visually pleasing, and it has those little fun little bits that make the game fun to play, if you know what I mean. I mean, lots of games are fun to play just by, putting cards down and stuff like that, but this is the reason why I like thematic games, if you will. The images and the art and the structure of it, the immersion draws you in. Now, you can have a horrible game and have cool looking bits, but it won't cover up the fact. But when you have a game that's as fun as this one, and then plus you add these little tiny, well, for lack of a better term, these little tiny ship toys that you get to play with as you're moving around, the game is just amazing. I mean, this game, I'm not going to say it wouldn't be fun if I had, if all I had was like little cardboard tokens, but it is so much more fun when you're like be able to move your big Man of War on top of somebody's sloop, and trying to, and blowing them to heck and back to do that. And the thing is it isn't just a bash your friend type of game either. I mean, there's all kinds of cool little nooks and crannies that as you play it, you kind of explore. I mean, the combat, obviously the more simple one that I play with my daughter is that. But I mean, the combat system with poker, it really works well. It also fits the theme, gambling and, drinking rum and whatever. But there is something to be said about like that whole process of the pirate luck cards and the pushing your luck and like trying to like I said, plot your movement. I mean, each turn is kind of like a little puzzle that you have to figure out, and then what's really nice about, like, unlike a lot of puzzle games, after you figured out that puzzle, you have a big giant bloody sea battle after that. So there's just so much about the game that I really enjoyed and I liked, and I think if you like Pirate games, if you like games where you get to chase each other down and shoot cannons at each other and what have you, and run into sea serpents and cool little like mini adventures, if you will, in the Pirate Luck cards, I think you're really going to dig Tides of Infamy. And, and if you like it half as much as I liked it, then you're going to love it. So there you go. So that's how you play, and that's what I think of Tides of Infamy. If you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear them. Please let me know. As always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I know I say that at the end of every one of my videos, but I really, really do. And I know I always say this at the end of every one of my videos, but I really do hope that you have one heck of an awesome day. All right. Take care now. Bye-bye.